Please welcome candidate for governor and former state senator Ben Downing.
My name is Ben Downing. I'm a Pittsfield native and a former senator from Western Mass, a clean energy business leader, dad to 2 toddler boys, Michaela's husband, and these days a proud resident of East Boston. I'm running to be your governor because I'm tired of watching state leaders waste our time. I'm tired of watching a governor with all the popularity and a legislature with all the power refuse to use either to fight for us. Meanwhile, the communities that I grew up in, that I represented, that I live in, they see rents rise and they see jobs leave. They see trains run off the track and air clog. They see childcare wait lists grow longer and higher education grow further out of reach. They see too many state leaders care more about protecting their power than about protecting their people. I'm running to be your governor because I believe Massachusetts' future is limitless, but I know that our time is not. And for too long, the political power in this state, Democrats and Republicans, have acted as though we have a surplus of tomorrows. Like you, I didn't need COVID to show me that wasn't the case. I grew up in Pittsfield, a city that struggled and had to fight for itself. I know what it is to get knocked down. My city got knocked down as I was growing up. GE left and took all the jobs. We were left cleaning up and rebuilding. The message that my generation heard was clear. Study hard and get out. The best days of your hometown are behind it. Unfortunately, I think that story sounds familiar to a lot of folks watching here today. My family got knocked down too, when my dad and my younger brother Nate died suddenly from heart disease less than 10 years apart. They were the center of my world, my role model and my best friend. So I know what it takes to get back up, to grow stronger at the broken places. I know what it feels like to have your community rally around you and hold you up when you don't know if you could stand without them. Loss shaped the kind of person that I am and the leader that I strive to be. It deepened my empathy and fueled my sense of urgency. It pushed me to run for the Senate. I got into a race with a lot of candidates who had longer resumes than me. I was dismissed, like young people too often are, until I won, and then went on to represent the largest district in the Senate for 10 years. There I led efforts to increase clean energy production, to fight poverty and hunger, to expand civil rights protections to our transgender neighbors, and more. I did all that, and I kept a promise I made in that first election and term limited myself. I went to work in clean energy. Michaela and I moved to East Boston and started a family. Malcolm and Eamon joined us, and we learned quickly the only thing more renewable than solar energy is a toddler's commitment to tire and terrify their parents every single day. Now, East Boston and Pittsfield are 150 miles apart. Different in a million ways, but similar at the core. And similar to so many other communities across this state. Tough, striving, creative, generous places that have had to fight much harder than they should to get resources and attention from Beacon Hill. And that's what brings me here today. That's what brings me to this race. Because I have lived and seen the difference that leadership makes. I know what it feels like to be an afterthought, to be written off, to be forgotten. I know exactly who suffers when those in power kick the can down the road. So if we're going to get out of this and rebuild from COVID, if we're going to stop wasting time, then we need a new sense of urgency from all of our leaders, starting with our governor. For the last 7 years, Charlie Baker has squandered opportunity after opportunity to take on the big challenges facing Massachusetts families. On transportation, on climate, on housing, on COVID response, on racial justice. He has all the power, and he hasn't used it on our behalf. And too often, Beacon Hill has cheered him on instead of raising their voices for the too many that have gone unheard. It doesn't have to be this way, but it won't change on its own. That's where we come in. We can change politics in Massachusetts. We can knock down the walls that have let our state government become insular and unresponsive. We can demand leadership as good as the people it claims to serve. I'm challenging all of us to use our power, to lock arms, join forces, and to face our biggest challenges head on. That starts now. That starts with having a governor who sees, who feels, who understands the daily impact of economic inequality, the urgency of our climate crisis, the consequences of racial injustice, and who's ready to do something about it. I'm running to be your governor because I believe the future of Massachusetts is limitless. You know, I know at one point or another, all of us have been knocked down. And as you were, they uttered to you the seductive idea that time heals all wounds, that if we just sit back and wait, the pain will go away. If only it were that easy. No, what you know, what I know, what we know is that healing is active, that recovery takes effort, that rebuilding takes fight and resolve beyond anything you ever knew you had in you. And none of us can do it on our own. I am not here because I healed from my father and my brother's death. I'm here because my community, my family, rallied around me and fought for me. And then I went and fought for them, with them by my side and in my heart. I'm running to be your governor because I believe the future of Massachusetts is limitless, but it's damn past time that we stood up and fought for it. Stood up and fought to eliminate child poverty and hunger. Stood up and fought for a Green New Deal in Massachusetts. Stood up and fought for the Massachusetts we want to live in, the Massachusetts we know is possible. So if you're up for that fight, if you're tired of the status quo and those who accept it, if you believe like I do in my bones that we are capable of so much better, I invite you to join us. My name is Ben Downing. I'm running to be your governor. It's our time to build the Massachusetts we all know is possible. Thank you very much. I'll see you out there.